Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa salatu wa salamu ala Sayyidil Anbiya'i wal Mursaleen. It's narrated from Anas ibn Malik with a sound chain transmission. It's in Sunan ibn Majah and is deemed sound by Al-Hafidh al-Mizzi. That he said, that the Prophet ﷺ said, seeking knowledge is an obligation upon every single Muslim. Now, knowledge can break into 2 or 4 categories: religious knowledge and worldly knowledge. Religious knowledge and worldly knowledge. We can break each into personally obligatory knowledge and communally obligatory knowledge. Right? So there's 2 variables each. So for example, how do you pray? I don't know. You need to know how to pray. It is not sufficient just to do what everybody else does. Because if you are living in a religious environment where there's scholars and everybody is, picked up their habits from scholars, then you're going to be doing something fine. But that's not the case in most places of the world. And so it's not sufficient just to do what everybody else does. You should check what is the actual deen. Check these things. So that's an example of a religious thing that's personally obligatory. How to change as a person. Personally obligatory. Right? How I need to find out myself. Communal obligatory religious knowledge, for example, Islamic finance. Not everybody has to get involved in Islamic finance. But for you need to know, is this contract halal? And there have to be scholars that are researching these things and giving us the details. That has to be happening. There's a communal obligation. Right? Many things like that, inheritance, etc. And there are worldly things that are obligatory for you to know. So you need to know about certain things. For example, health issues that pertain to you. Educational issues that pertain to you. You're going to put your kids in a school. What do they learn at school? What do they do at school? I don't know. You need to know. Is this beneficial for the student, for your children who are your amana with you, a trust with you? Is it useful? Is it not? What kind of school, etc.? Many things like that. Politics. Okay. Is it, you need to know, if you're going to vote for somebody, you need to know something about, what they're going to do for the ummah or they're going to do in the world, etc. And you need to know certain things. So certain things you need to know because you're going to be responsible for what you do, right? So you need to know some things about the world. And there are many, just like there are many religious obligations, like having someone memorize the Quran. There's many worldly obligations. For example, you need an engineer. If there are no engineers, the world will fall apart. If there are no doctors, the world will fall apart. If there are no town planners, if there are no politicians, if there are no educators, so learning how to educate, a communal obligation. Learning how to run a country, a communal obligation. Right? And so these are all obligations. And so seeking knowledge then, it becomes an obligation on every single Muslim. And in fact, it's not an obligation on every single Muslim. It's not really a condition to say obligation on every single Muslim, but what it means is it's also obligatory to teach your children certain things. So you can't say, well, the child has to reach the age of puberty and then they become responsible. No, rather you, just like you have to feed them and clothe them and protect them, you have to educate them in the basic things that you yourself need to know. Right? The basic obligations of life, the basic sunnahs, these are obligations that you have to either teach your children or have your children learn. وصلى على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. You can learn more about this topic and any other religious disciplines or topics at Kiflayn.com.